Hi everyone and welcome back to our channel. My name is Bemi and this is my lovely husband Timothy. If this is your first time seeing our content, wherever we are both engineering students, PhD students, we're passionate about different things. We have like separate channels. We have channels like this where we talk about like issues together. So today, should I give you some time to introduce yourself or just get straight to the topic?
Yeah, I think as we've been saying, I'm Timothy, and it's a privilege to be here again and to have my beautiful wife. And one of the things that's motivating for me is documentation. And people say, "Oh, what's your motivation? Why do you guys do this?" And it's one of the primary ways to document our thoughts and how we view life. Also, possibly if people get to watch it, then it's a plus. But that's the whole idea of what we're doing here.
Yes, I think I was talking to someone recently, last week, and she was asking like, "What is the motivation?" I think the same person referring to that. What is the motivation behind like you people just keeping consistent with what you're doing? I'm like, I just see it as a way to document videos. I see it as a way to document our thoughts, as see it as a way to document like progress in life, because you can look back in 10 years and then you'll be like, oh, okay, so this is how I thought that time, and maybe you would have grown, things like that. Yeah, so let's get to our topic for today. So today we'll be talking about AI, the trending topic, and its impact, especially with education and also like jobs and everything like that. So the first question I have for you is, what do you say intelligence is?
Yeah, so just to give you a background before I go into intelligence, I think the AI subject, I think what is happening now is more of a reality check than being hot, because I think it was 2019, just before COVID, that AI was the scary. People were scared about it, and oh, it's coming. 2,000 people will lose their jobs, all of it. But now it's here, and it's been like, okay. And to be truthful, I don't think people are losing their jobs as much as those who are trying to deny it would be the ones. Exactly. So I think now to the question, intelligence. I think intelligence is good.
Just speaking like generally, I'm not talking about like artificial, like human intelligence, artificial intelligence. Like, what does intelligence mean? And why I'm asking is because from where we come from, Nigeria, when it comes to like what someone, if you say someone is smart or someone is intelligent, usually they think book smart and just the ability to like lacram lapo, like taking information and pour it out. So that's why I'm asking, like, to you, what do you think intelligence is?
Yeah, that's good because I told somebody recently that somebody who is a popular guy in Nigeria, and they feel he's smart because he could cram and pour. But recently, I think intelligence for me is the ability to.
As for non-Nigerian audience, la clam rapport means like you're able to just memorize information and then pour it out just the way you memorize it.
What do they call it here? I've forgotten. But for me, I think intelligence, first of all, is for you to be able to critique the things you hold in high esteem. I know this is going to sound very controversial, but the fact that you can say, was I wrong? I think that is for me the hallmark of intelligence, where you can work with the data presented before you, and that's why it's called artificial intelligence, because you just have data. And I remember growing up as a very young guy. There's this guy in our church. Then he hated chemistry, but he was in science department. I remember the name of the dad, but not the son. And so he said, "Oh, he was looking forward to the day where this textbook can be just comprised into something." And then we didn't even have Google then. This was when I was very, very young, that chemistry would just be something that you can search somewhere. For you to read through a book, then you just search somewhere and that thing will give it to you. And that is intelligence, because you're looking for a way to.
Outside a box.
Exactly. And thinking of critiquing the system. Meanwhile, you still have the idea of, probably I can be wrong, I can be right. And so for me, intelligence is just that you can work with the data in front of you and say, oh, okay, maybe this is now the truth about what I've believed in the past. And that's where we, as humans, many times we fall short, because many people, they marry that idea so much that let's not go into it.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what I think intelligence is: the ability to be able to say, "Oh, this is the data presented," weigh it, and say, "Okay, this is what I believe based on, or this is how I can think based on the data presented."
So I think that makes sense. And speaking of data, I think that's the bedrock of artificial intelligence. So some people, I don't know, humans can be very funny, and they liken AI to, like, quote unquote, a godlike um, sense machine.
A godlike creature.
Yes, but this whole AI thing is just the amount of data that it has available to it. So it has access to more data than, like, we as humans will probably have access to, because
Or one human.
one human at a point in time, because usually as you age you have like more information, and as you have more information you're also losing some information because you're forgetting some things. So usually having to sit down and be able to make like that mindful connection, that okay, I've heard something like that, like this before, I've read something like this before, how can I like make those kinds of connections? So AI is not good.
Argument. I think maybe we can take it up in another video. I would speak to some people that we can bring to have that argument, because again, I'm a firm believer, and so but to look at it critically too, it's because the reason we believe in God is, first of all, when you want to look at God's preeminence, you're going to, there's no how you would leave out the fact that he can see before, he can iterate with whatever you are doing to predict what will happen. Not prediction. He can see before.
Yeah, he can see what will happen.
Then he has also been before, so he can use relatable data before.
So he has all the data.
Obvious. I mean, that's why. And so even when David would refer to him, he said that he has our names on his palms. And you look at that person that can unify. So if you look at the whole, because
that cuts across all cultures, all belief systems, because this is another conversation that we are going to. But yeah, let's continue.
So that's just they are wrong, because probably AI will not be moral compass guiding humans, the spiritual nature of life, but in the sense of the instruments that can give that context based on data, things he had seen before, and can make it available when it's needed, then I think we can have a common ground somewhere to say probably something like that. But again, I'm just thinking out loud. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let's come down to like using AI for our day-to-day activities. And should we? I know some people are some people are for AI, some people are against AI. So, but I think that this is not a debate of like, is AI good, is it bad? But it's more like its use. How do we use it? So some people say, oh, they don't like they don't like AI tools because people use it as a shortcut. So now, is it a shortcut or is it a tool? Now, let me give a kind of background. So last week at the conference I was at, I went for a women in engineering conference, women in STEM, conference, and AI was also a topic of discussion, like one of our breakout sessions. So then we were talking about like AI and then the tools and how it impacts our lives. Because the truth is that, like it or not, it's here to stay. So you might either embrace it now or embrace it later, but you will have to embrace it because it's so integrated into our lives now. So they were trying to explain the fact, especially like one of the speakers was trying to explain the fact that AI should be used as a tool to get your job done, because it is a job, so that you can have time for more human relationships and things that matter, like you are raising a family, you have like other things going for you. So that was her own argument. So what do you think? How should we view or approach the topic of AI?
Again, so to circle back, AI is a good human innovation, but every human innovation at some point will be frowned at.
Yes.
So let's look at when cars came, for instance. Before cars, exactly.
A lot of examples that we get to, even like washing machines.
before time, I looked at if I were to trek to Omaha just when I dropped you off for the conference, and I was like, oh, if I were to trek to Omaha, or we were to trek, it would take us one day, and I did not break speed limits.
It will take me more than one day because we'll have to pause with a child.
Everything, I made a target. I was coming to take you, and I wanted to eat in my eating window this time, and I said, okay, before 1. And I noticed that we got back, when I came to pick you, we got back 12:40 or 12:30 something, and then I could still hit it, and by 1 I was done. And I was like, oh, and I was just grateful, like, wow. Now, with aircraft and all those things, now imagine those who were selling horses, or or those, exactly, or those making those carts, and maybe those that encourage healthy living through walking, which is good. But at that point, I needed time for other things. I could have as well said I want to trek to Omaha because I want to, my cause. I want to, So when people go against innovation, many times I see it as, again, they are not intelligent. To come back to the concept of intelligence, because intelligence should be, oh, this is a tool. Would it give me time for other things, as the lady has said? Not even human interaction. Maybe I love gaming. I don't, but let's say I love it and I need more time to game. I would just try to find a way to, if I cut my work and I'll do something I love to do, it's a win-win. So to go against
as the work gets done.
Exactly. So, and that's why I like, my supervisor, the person I work with, because that's also his mode. Just get the job done. Whether we are feeding the AI, somebody said, oh, we are feeding the with machine, we are feeding with data.
It will help to improve the system.
I used to say it should be smart. Because, bro, it's just a tool. So, we can look at what we are doing now. Those before, for us to have an audience, probably we would have to do this in a city square, and we're standing and calling people. But now we can get an audience of 20, and we can do it at our own time, upload it. Let's even say minimum. We have not blown yet. So, when you look at all of these things, you just say, no, you don't have to go against the tool. We can look at use like some cases where it will be harmful, like taking up some jobs. And I'm grateful that, I didn't stick, with graphics design, because today, our thumbnails, many things, AI will do it comfortably. So it just means that as humans, once there's something you were doing before, let's say you were selling cars and cars came, find a way. If you can't get into the car business, recalibrate, get something else working. Because let's not lie, many things will go out of date. We can't push the fact that even some tailors will go out of job soon, because once you can gather data, feed it into a machine, it will make clothes.
It already does. It's not like a full cloth, but you can feed it like your dimensions, and then to make like the patterns, and then you just cut it out, join it together, and then you made your outfit. So
yeah, and that is either you now will try to be one of the persons that will think out of the box to feed it good data, or immediately look for a way to maybe learn how to program the AI. You must learn to be fluid. If you just say, because this thing is taking my job, I will hate it. You will not go forward. Because I was speaking with a friend. I'm grateful that I'm doing a PhD now, because if I had waited for some years, probably, because let's not lie, many of the things we do as a research, soon to AI will be able to do it. The only thing now is maybe for research purposes, they'll just need a human interface that can,
so that are doing experiments.
Even your experiment.
Hey,
you can program robots in the lab.
Yeah, true, but you need someone to program.
So let's say you need 4 PhD students. You just need 1 PhD student to ensure that the robots are doing this thing, charging the batteries of the robots, all of those things. So no doubt. But the point is that you must be intelligent enough to say, okay, this is a new tool. How do I switch into making this part of my life? Yeah. And don't go against it. Calculator came. Until today, humans, we don't count. I saw those things. Because we don't use it anymore. Many things like that, even clothes. Some people were harvesting leaves at some point. Now we don't use leaves. So we just need to move on with.
I think because like humans, sometimes we are when change comes, I kind of reserved that. Okay, like what's happening. I think when you mentioned examples, like the issue of not swim machine, washing machine, actually came to mind because I've seen this argument. This is a different topic about like how washing machine has made women lazy. I'm like, but you as a man, you drive your car to work. Like you're not trekking to work now. And when you get to work, you're still using maybe maybe your work is still like computer based. You sit in front of the computer. Why don't you go and do the quote unquote hard work?
I heard that about it. Is one of even conservatives, they use that, and it's lame to say that because of that, that's why women are trying to fight for rights. I don't think that that's the case. I think really that washing machines, they are here now. We can look at maybe the health benefits, all of those things, but rather than do that, let's find a way to make the washing machine healthy and work with it. There's even this example I wanted to speak about. I don't know, it slipped off my mind. A lot of examples that you must come to terms with the fact that when a technology is here, embrace it. Don't fight it. Because it's okay, yes, it's the concept of social media.
Okay, yeah.
People say social media has made us dull. And there's this YouTuber I follow that said it's a lie. That at every point in life, humanity want to grab attention. That's just it. So at a point, newspaper would be regarded as making people dull. Because people will just go to newspaper stands, even till today, where we come from, then they just read the news. Some people read it, then they start to talk, then play drafts. So at every point in time, humanity wants something that they can focus on. Exactly. So social media, I don't think is making people dull. I think it's just that now they're shifting their attention, and then screen time, all of those things. Screen time, maybe you can look at the health benefits, maybe your eye, blue light rays, all of that. But to say that, in itself, it's a bad tool, it's a lie. It's a good tool.
Depends on how it's used.
Exactly. So, because no matter how you want to say it, whether the illicit industries, we went to a cave. I looked at it, I said, come on, humanity. In that cave, most of the drawings on the wall, most of the depictions there, they are all referring to something illicit. Not all, many of them. So it just shows that, all through the ages, we just moved the media from one form to another form. It got to paper at some point, illicit magazines. Now it's gotten to one industry everybody's shouting against, and we're just moving. The next time now it might get to maybe contact lens where so you can just imagine things like that. So I think that embrace technology and move on. Yeah.
So let's address the issue of quote unquote mental laziness. So usually, even the same thing with calculators that you mentioned, and how I think the impact on younger people, especially like students. Not let's even leave it like those in the workforce. Students, maybe like high school, college students. They are just like forming an understanding of a topic, and then they have these tools thrown at them. So how do you address a usage or being able to regulate the use of these tools that it will not result in people just being over reliant on like AI, and you don't understand what is going on in the class. You just feel like, okay, once I just copy and paste it, AI will give me the answer. I just download it and then the work is done. So how would you address a scenario where a student is just over reliant on this AI as a tool?
Again, I always love to take the devil's advocate to not just think like how normal people would think. Again, just to backtrack. So if you look at in scriptural days, before we had print media, people would learn the Torah and they knew it by heart.
Yes.
Today, how many of us, including you and I, can say we know the Torah by heart? So if you're talking with someone like Moses, for instance, and he's seeing us writing today in that sense with all of this, before we even got to this technology, let's say in our time, cursive and everything, and students, but we don't remember as much as them. They'll look at you as if, you guys are lazy. Now today, because we wrote and we crammed a lot to some extent, or we know so much. Now we're trying to look at the next generation and see if they are going to be lazy. I don't think so. I think the next generation would be that with those tools in their hands, there will be a new demand. You understand? There will be something that will be maybe now how fast you can use those tools in giving solutions might be the new normal. Not like our own time where it's how fast you can cram or or show that you know something. So you go for a speech and they're asking you, even Bible competitions. But let me leave it that. Let's look at maybe mass competition, cowbell, 2x, 4x. Now you just have to plug an earpiece, and then as person is saying it, the AI just tells you, and it's 2x. So it will now. I think it will graduate to how fast people can use these tools to solve real life problems.
Exactly. I think, yeah.
The laziness is good. So
No, I think
a
it's
good form of laziness is good.
because the thing is that, like, all through the years there have been lazy people. So saying that to make people lazy, I don't really think so. But it's also like, yeah, there should be checks and balances at some point, especially maybe like in an educational sense, like point of view. I know now people are screaming at like the whole ChatGPT thing because of like the uptick, which I don't obviously don't know the data because it's just like recent. Nobody's really, I don't know whether anybody's like spending time to study what is really happening with like.
Conservatives have. I saw a listen that more high school children are now dull and
Not even just though, like talking about like suicidal and everything like that, because maybe instead of them going to form connections outside, they're just on ChatGPT. The ChatGPT has just become like their body. But
you form connections in this code. Look, they should go. I think from where we come from, forming connections is still very much easier.
even yeah, so it's not even about like maybe code or this thing, but it's just the fact that people that are introverted, that don't really got, they still have something, at least they have something to engage with. I think that's what I don't, let's go into that. But yeah, what I'm saying is that there should be checks and balances where it applies, like parental control. You know your child the best, and you know what is best for them when it comes to like maybe screen time or ChatGPT time or AI time. But I think it still boils down to the fact that we should not see it as an enemy, but see it as a tool. That how will it get me what I need to, like where I need to go. So
But as parents, pushing your children to see more effective ways to use it.
yes, so that's I was talking to someone. So like in the conference I went for last week, and then they're talking about like, so we're just sharing like how we use AI in our day to day. So it's not just about maybe like a job, or maybe you're trying to cheat the system with maybe your education and everything. But I was telling someone that I use ChatGPT especially for recipes, because of our whole healthy living thing. And sometimes when I go online to watch videos, I don't really get, instead of following other people's recipes, maybe I need to buy anything extra, I just tell ChatGPT that, okay, I have these ingredients at home, give me a recipe for maybe crackers or cook. Exactly. So, and exactly, we use it for planning, like you plan your meals, you do meal planning. So just things like that, it actually helps us instead of sitting down and be like, okay, what will I do on Monday, what will I do on Tuesday, something like that. But it just helps you. It's almost like a collaboration partner. And I think that's the conclusion we came to last week, was that just see it as a tool. That's what it is. So it's not like it's a one size fits all solution. Is that you, as just like machines, like microphones, everything, just see it as a tool. That, okay, I am the human, I feed it the information, it does its processing, it gives me an output. It's my job to check if that output really makes sense with the input data. Exactly. If it doesn't make sense, then I can tweak it further. And so it's not removing the human element of it, because humans, you still have to give it a prompt. It's not acting on its own. You have to prompt it to do an action.
I think also it's, in a way, it's going to even the brilliance when people call themselves extremely brilliant, or the genius mantra. It might even it. I'm not saying you still have outliers, no doubt, but it will even it a bit where being smart would be more from how you can solve problems rather than what is in your brain, because now information is almost everywhere.
No one thing I've noticed especially when we came here and started like talking to people and everything, what I noticed is the brilliant people, like you feel like they are, or most of the time is in your head, like you feel like they are extremely brilliant, is actually two things, maybe three, but two main things. First one is the time they devote to this body of knowledge. And then number two is the access to resources that they have. So sometimes maybe you're coming from a place where you don't really have that much access. You don't feel like you are as brilliant when you start mentioning some things. But later, maybe later down the line, when you're reading something, maybe like you're reading a paper, and you're like, oh, this is where they got it from. So it's not like they are brilliant on their own. It's just the fact that they've devoted their time to this research thing or to this body of knowledge. So just like we were saying, so the fact that now everybody has access to this knowledge, it now levels the playing field a bit. That anybody, you don't need to have that much time, as long as you know what to give it. So yeah.
One of the most people who might also be edgy are religious leaders, because because many of the things that, like interpretations, like again, spiritual things will still be spiritual, but many of the basic interpretations for things now, you would see,
Like academic interpretation.
exactly, it's now it's almost, yeah, we can ask question, what's the data source. You can have that debate with either of any of the AI platforms, though there's still this confirmation bias, I think, but that's not our topic today, that some AI platforms will have, where once it notices your bias, it will just try to stay with it. It will tell you if there's a close fact, no, an even fact, like saying 1 + 1 is not 2. It will drag that with you. But when it comes to things like maybe historical sources, where you have maybe 2-3 sides, yes, so I accept that, really. But I just still feel like pushing AI at this point and pushing it away would be one of the wrongest things to do, because if you do that, the train will move, and when it moves, I'm sorry, you're gone. Yeah. So
Yeah. Okay. So another question. This is like more personal. How do you use AI in your day to day? It could be anything.
yeah, it's crazy. I might not say some of the things. Well, it's really crazy. I think I don't know if this is a thing, but I got the badge. I think we got the badge on ChatGPT last year. I didn't post it, but it's part of the top 5% users. That shows that I interact a lot. Now, even because I try to solve problems, especially when I got into the media world and shooting and all of these things, you always come into
Shooting video. Shooting video.
the media world. They're shooting, so please don't put me out of context. Yeah, but shooting videos and making sure that we get very quality stuff on a budget. Budget is, let me say, medium budget, because when I was looking at my credit card, I was like, this is no more. I think we're in the medium stage, and so you always have a problem in that if you want to get quality sound, quality images, you get into a problem. And because you don't have all of the funds to throw at the big or high-end tools, then you need to look at how to juggle tools. And so I have that conversation a lot. Or how can I do this? How can I tweak this profile? Sometimes I'll just be thinking on the bed and I'll jump up. She will see me. I'll just jump up to pick my phone and ask it this question. Many times it will say, oh, you are smart. Okay, you're just whining me. Let's get the job done. So I use that a lot in that realm. Also for some healthy tips, how to, going into carnivore and all of those things, different ways, scheduling to, coding to, because I've never liked the curly braces, curly brackets and the semicolons and all of that. So it does a lot of that for me. Then recently too, design ideas, because I do designs. So sometimes I don't like whatever it's doing. So I'll just tell it to make a background, just a background. I'll put the text on it, because sincerely, text-wise, sometimes it works with a lot of data it has from maybe Canva. It does not go for being super creative. So creatives will still make some money, especially high-end creatives, not Canva creatives. They'll make some money from it. Then also in softwares, a lot of softwares, I'm grateful to DaVinci Resolve, Premiere Pro. Many of them now you have, like, if we don't want to have this very expensive setup with good audio, except I want to live stream, but just bad audio, these softwares will pull out very good audio, make it clean. Though you see here the AI glitches at some point. But yeah, I think we are really getting there with creativity. AI will take a lot of things. I mean, AI cannot change backgrounds for you, create it, and so I used it a lot in that realm to, yeah. Then also with financial planning, I was looking at your credit card, your credit score. Though sometimes you don't want to give it too much information, just in case maybe.
I think, do you know, I didn't even know, like, which I just learned at the conference, is that you can actually toggle off, especially for those of us that we have the pro version of ChatGPT. You can toggle off them feeding your data to the bigger model. I didn't know. Yeah. So it was on by default. So I just turned it off when I came back. So,
They should.
no, I think she was saying that, like, if you use it for maybe like your job, because she was referencing an issue. I don't know which company. I mean, maybe Amazon or something, or one of these companies that the programmer coded something, used ChatGPT, and then it was just available to the public, and he didn't know about it, and then I think maybe got him fired or something. So yeah, so just something like that. That if you are using it for, yes, like using. I've already done it simple now.
That's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Yes, so that's what's it that don't, if you're dealing with like sensitive information and you use the pro version, you can toggle it off so it does not fit your data to the larger model. So you can just use it like internally. You said?
Leave pro. Maybe I have to go back to the pro. Yeah. I think I stopped it because I'm shifting to cloud.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but even they're like cloud, usually they're not ranking it, but they're just talking about like how cloud is better in a lot of things, especially like data processing and data analysis than even ChatGPT, which I didn't know. So actually for me, I think I just started getting the whole vibe of ChatGPT from him, because initially, I didn't use it, but I was not really that conversant with it that it's something that I go to every day, maybe once in 2 weeks or something, until you started showing me that, oh, you can do this, can do that. So I'm like, and that's me being an educated person. So I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know it had all these capabilities.
Ask basic questions like Google.
I was using just like a search engine, not like a discussion or a collaboration partner. So I would just, maybe I would need something. What is this? I would just type, what is that? Like, so I was just using like the very basic things, like a search engine.
Like I talked to it like a pal in that sense.
Yeah, it was when I started seeing like your conversation, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I can do that too. And I think for me, I was kind of skeptical, not skeptical that it's replacing anything, but skeptical with people's stories, especially when they start talking about biases. And usually because of what we believe in a lot of things, we have that kind of bias with like vaccines and like modern medicine and things like that. So usually like people are just saying that, oh, it has this bias, that bias. I'm like, okay, let's stay with your biases. Let me just deal with real humans and real human things, until I started seeing your conversation that you can actually tell it's your bias, and then it finds information based on the bias that you have.
Like if you stand on your bias, especially when it is things around vaccine, healthy living. Like when I spoke with Claude about carnivore diet, it was really skeptical, obviously. But when I spoke with ChatGPT, you know that this one is open-minded to say, okay, like there's.
But there's so sometimes they may even put the caveats. Like, sorry for cutting you short, but there was one time I was searching for like meal planning ideas for our son. So, and then I was talking about like a keto diet for him, and ChatGPT was busy arguing with me that I should not restrict him to like a keto. They said that children need carbohydrates, and I said, don't argue with me. So just give me what I want. Usually sometimes especially with maybe like pictures, creating pictures, and then he's telling me stories. I said, don't tell me stories, just this is the last time I'm telling you, give me what I need. Stop talking to me. So and then it just gives me the image I'm looking for. So I think I use it a lot for like images. My thumbnails, most of my thumbnails are ChatGPT created. Or
I think now we should even put. I think with thumbnails, for thumbnails, I'll go with Gemini here. And again, that's one good thing about it, is that there's a healthy competition coming, where some people might just take. Though many people are still charging a lot for it relatively, because there are some dedicated platforms, AI platforms, that is just for design, and those models will be really good for it, but they charge more. But I still want to see more competition in that sense. Probably if I learn how to work with models, maybe create something, because there's a guy, I just found him, I was telling you about him. They are creating a platform for church where AI can detect what pastor is saying and put scriptures on the screen. I know this is something I previously was totally against, but to look at it again as a tool. Now, we can use both in that sense. You can encourage people to have the hard copy, also to also, because sometimes too, because of how fast you're going, especially for some of us that, we were trained to be really fast with teaching. Many times I noticed that you have many things to say, but, for some of us, we slow down to say, okay, let everybody, but, just imagine putting myself in that shoes. Many times you're just quiet, you have lost track of what the person is saying. You gain track maybe at the 20th minute, and there'll be another argument that, okay, if you start to use AI, will it make people more because it could also mean that people will just come with a voice recorder and say at the end of the teaching, yeah, give me a summary.
I was in a meeting on Monday, and the person I was in a meeting with, the person I was in a meeting with on Monday. So, and he was saying, oh, he had a lot of information to give me, and then he was on his phone, and he said that AI would give me the transcript, and then he turned on voice recorder. So he was talking, we have the conversation, and he was recording it, and he was like, he's going to give me the notes later. I was like, oh, that's
dedicated recorders. I wanted to get it. I'm just a freak for gadgets, but once I don't really need it, I might not go for it. But there are dedicated recorders like that. You just place it on the table, person will say everything, and I still think that is a good tool. Now somebody can say, oh, it will reduce human. No. There are relationships that you don't want to record for things like that when it is something you like. But when it comes to a discussion around job, okay,
let's just get this job done and let's be going.
I want to debate on, let's say debate on how women should be better mothers or how men should be better providers. You don't need an AI to record, except maybe you want to prepare for another debate using the points you got. So we should not be too disingenuous to say that is removing the human relationship. No, there are human relationships where, we're at a mixer, and I noticed that people rarely use their phones. Yeah, people rarely even did that. People wanted to throw this game, and that one that you throw like sandbag into that stuff. Yeah, people were having conversations, handshakes. It's
I think so. I think this same conversation, which was not even, we're not talking about AI per se in this conference. It was a difference. We're talking about like burnout, and was it, I think it was maybe like burnout or something. In when it comes to like working, and then she was trying to give like a history, talking about like how jobs were viewed versus how it's viewed now. So how jobs used to be viewed like in years ago, it's just a job. Like it's not a passion or anything. You just go to work, get your work done, get paid, go back home and face your family. But now it's like they've turned it to your passion, or she was saying like they lied to you. But
it's a big lie, really. It's a big
so you now turn it to something you're passionate about, and once you're passionate about something, like there's no work hours anymore. So like your 9 to 5 is no longer 9 to 5, because 9 p.m. you're already saying, how do I get better with this thing? How do I improve on this thing? How do I this one? And then your brain is filled with work all the time.
So they use passion and definition of life. So people now define their life based on this. Meanwhile, before it's entered there, I need to survive. I need to be able to eat tomorrow.
I need to get paid.
And this is what I can do. That's it. So I don't really, because more of your passion in life should be how to communicate with people, how to, have that relationship where, you can, this is my daughter, this is my son, this is my good friend. But now the concept of friend is now like, if I don't gain this from this person, it's now more, and yeah, and it's still what is sent down the ladder at the upper echelon. They all have, for instance, they know that they don't want to give their daughters to somebody poor. They have all those, human clear thoughts. It's you that you are down here, that you are fighting. You're saying, I hear people define themselves even based on the cars they use. Like, bro.
But I feel like that way, this is a different conversation, but I feel like that one is just you're trying to seek community. in that sense. Like just like for example, like the bikers, they always have this biking community that because they all have bikes, they all love bikes, they all love to ride. They're disturbing us around during the warmer. So they have that bikers community. So the same way, maybe range lovers, they have range community. So it's just like I think it's just a human this what do you call human nature to seek community and to, even though some people say I like to be on my own, they lie.
There's this good feeling, and that's why even spiritual gatherings, there's you once you have you might be down all day, just have a discussion with 4 or 5 people. You see that once you are done, there's just this, okay, I'm still human. At least I have people that can hear me.
I was telling someone, sorry for so when this conference I went to, that's why some people were not looking at it's not just like I think my lab person like it's not just a women's conference. I said that's your own. But I know it's a women's conference, yes, and it's a women in STEM conference, which means that the women there, they are facing the same things that I'm facing. So usually and we had like this kind of round, which I really appreciate, and they made that improvement from last year. Now instead of having lunch, like everybody just off having lunch independently, they said let's be doing like a round table lunch. So they'll give you a topic of discussion, and then if you're interested in this topic, I go and join this table. Then we have a discussion. So on my table, the discussion was actually I was telling you about it. I've forgotten imposter syndrome. But then we just started talking about something else. Yeah. So we're talking about mostly about like just being a mother in STEM, or being a mother and chasing a career, or something like that. That's the conversation we're having. But I just found out that after the whole because I talking to people and everything, and I go back to my room, and then there was almost like this peace in my mind that I'm not the only one feeling like this. I'm not even
it's not speaking to a therapist.
Oh, just speaking to regular.
I hate that mantra. I just speak to a therapist. No. Speak to regular people. Like I know because of where we are, maybe it's too big, maybe security concerns. So you just need what is called a safe space.
I think that whole I know people argue that there may be benefits. Yes, I'm sure there are benefits, but essentially it's primarily you're paying someone to listen to you. You just want to vent and pour out your mind, and truth.
And AI will not take away that.
Yeah, you can't take away that. So you're venting and pouring out your mind. Usually people that have like good like friend group and everything, they may or may not seek, just like for example like where we come from in Nigeria, there's always someone to talk to, except you don't want to talk, but there's always someone that will listen to you. But when you are in a different climb, I don't want to say here is a climb, because sometimes, like I was telling you that when I was in the hotel, I just went out in the evening and I just saw people just chowolo talking. I was like, so you people can talk.
Our sister, maybe I don't say her name, she said something on her status, and it got me thinking really that, there's how we talk about gist. And she said something that day that, so as humans, are we supposed to gist? And it got me thinking really that truthfully you should have people that you have healthy conversations. I'm not saying it should be a place where you're snitching or for me the mantra just is for relationships or discussions, whatever I will not say in your front, I will not say it behind you. So once you have that rule, it makes having conversations easy, where you can have discussions, say things. Probably people will come up in your discussions. It's a good way to live, because sometimes you just bottling up everything, just pretending as if nothing else matters. I don't think it's a good way to live in that sense. And that's why people are turning to AI. But AI will not still give that.
I don't think you can, because if you're just talking about, this is not even really about AI now. So I was telling this person that came to see me yesterday. When did she come? On Monday. The person that used to come every week to see me. So and then she was saying that, what do I want to do different with this new baby? I said, truth be told, 2 things I really want to do. First of all, I do, because the first time around it was almost like I was in survival mode. I was not sleeping. So it was just like I didn't enjoy any form of having the child. It was just, let me just be able to get through this stage. Talking to other people say, to get better, like I'm just waiting for when it to get better. But this time around, I actually want to be able to. It's not like afterwards I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's true. That time was actually, it was bad because you're not sleeping, but at the same time, I really want to enjoy the newborn stage. And then number 2, I said I really want to be alone this time. I want to be able to go outside. And thank God, I think what has been working for me is that I'm having babies like in the warmer time. It's not like in the winter where you're almost trapped in the house. But now it's warmer, I can. And I'm trying to make more friends now so that I can have like go out to the parks, just go out, like instead of sitting there, because once I'm sitting at home, that's when you go and touch grass. That's why some thoughts be coming to your mind, and then you'll be crying unnecessarily. But when you go outside, you talk to other people, and that's why like a lot of communities are springing up. Like people will say social media is removing us from human connections, but still, when you go online, you will still see communities again coming together.
Social media is even making us have new communities, because what's happening now is that, okay, for instance,
You're able to find communities even when like people can be in a distance. Exactly. So
I could go, for instance, let's say, even though that I didn't want to push this further, because of my political leanings, I have people in places that if I know, I had some people say, oh, we were calling in from Turkey and different places. So let's say if I get to Turkey today, bam, one of the first people exactly is, Baba, where you did? Person I've not met. I have a friend in Australia. I've not met him before. We just cut through Forex and everything. And if I get to Australia today, first person I'll be thinking of is him, because, you know, we've had video calls, we've all had all of that. And it has not made me less of a human. Maybe because I have more control over my thoughts. But I think social media, all of this platform can be used constructively, where you will still have your, as you said, you have your relationship with people. You can also go out, you meet with them. You can also, you know, have, you know, questions around things you share, topics you like, and just as I said about Forex, and, you know, things will get better. Yeah.
yeah. So let's get back to the AI conversation. Okay. So are there times when you don't use AI? Like at what point that do you actively avoid, not like you'd say, okay, I don't want to use AI for this particular thing, that you have chosen not to, even though you can, but you have chosen not to use AI for something?
So I think because, let me say, at least I can just boast a bit. I think I'm a bit being smart. I think I have some, you know. So I needed to complete a task this morning, and my supervisor asked me to do it, and I just went, like, I know I could have done MATLAB or done a code, but I just took a pen, paper, and I went old school. I wrote out the formulas, just got the calculation. Then when I was done, I was like, but I'll just go to these parameters, just feed it into AI, and it will have done everything for me. So many times, because of how, you know, how we were brought up, so some things you will still do it manually until you now say, oh, I could have just sent this thing. Yeah. So those are the times for me I feel, okay, maybe I'll just forget not to use AI. Then classified documents too, when you don't want some things to go out. There are a lot of things you might not want to go out. So you just, you know, write it on paper usually and get it done. But for the most times, I think it's just the fact that because you think we're still a bit smart, but I think the next generation will fall there, where, you know, they will. I'm sure that task, they would have just gone. I mean, I would have gotten it done since yesterday. But we had a meeting, we met, and he just reminded me that, oh, after this stuff I asked you to do. Oh, I said immediately before I even got home, I just went, I took paper, I sat down, I just got my email, did it. And I was like, oh, I'll have done this thing through the midnight. I should have just typed it in. So at those points, sometimes I'll forget to use it. Sometimes if it's classified, I don't bother using it. Yeah.
I think for me, I'm almost same. I think I'm not at the same level as you when it comes to like AI usage. So many times, like if you come to my office, you will still see, as if you check my book, my experiment book, you will still see me making notes and jotting and just keeping record of things, because as much as you have convinced me, I really don't like writing on my tab. I prefer to handwrite things. I don't know. It just feels soothing to me to be able to write things down. Yeah, but I prefer paper. Yeah, I'm not against it, obviously. Yeah, but I just prefer to, especially when it comes to like me trying to think through things, I'd rather write things down. And then there's some things that maybe I'm trying to sketch something out, because I do a little of design, not like graphic design, but like machine design. So I'd rather sketch things out. So just put my thoughts from my head, instead of thinking that which English should I type and and everything. Yeah, which prompt should I? Yeah, exactly. So let me just sketch it for myself.
I think I need an AI secretary, because my schedule is all over the place. So maybe I'll look at, there should be a platform, not to do it though, because I don't want something that I'll still have to impute actively. If it's something I can just maybe speak into and say, like, I'm grateful for Siri. I know it's not an AI, but like the stuff I had this morning, I completely forgot.
Don't like Siri. And that's why I don't like it, but
I just said Siri when I got the mail. Just put this thing 30 minutes before, and that was how I remember this morning. So I think
usually for me, when it comes to like planning, what I do is that I use both Google Calendar and Todoist. Because like once, like for example, let's say I have a meeting with my advisor and then he tells me a list of things to do. Once I'm done with the meeting, I go to my Todoist, I write down the things that he asked me to do and put it as schedule. Like maybe, for example, there's some things today.
Todoist, does it have, it does not have a way of communicating audio?
There should be, but I'm not using the pro. I'm using like the free version. So all I do is just to write down tasks that I have and then put it on the day I wanted to do it, and then put priorities and put times. So usually, like for example, today I was writing I needed a recommendation from the hospital. So I just the prescription, sorry. So I put it on my, since that I was told last week, I put it on my to-do list that okay, I knew I was going to hospital by like 10. So I said by 10 a.m. ask me. So immediately it was 10. Yeah.
Let's not make it to this.
Yeah, so for me, Todoist and Google Calendar helps. So when it comes to like schedule of times, maybe someone has a meeting, I put it on Google Calendar. When it comes to a task, I put it on Todoist. So it works for me. And usually I don't think I forget things as much.
Mine is just the scheduling, where immediately I get something, I just don't want to start to type, because probably I just finished typing to get the thing I want to do done. I'm not still typing again. I feel, hey, I'm just being lazy. But I know I'll get the solution.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll get the solution. Yeah, please.
Okay, so that's when I don't use AI, because I'm like, I just want something. I want something not screeny. And also like when it comes to like reading papers, actually, I know like when we got to PhD, like obviously a lot of like AI tools are helping to summarize and everything. But I don't know, I just found it interesting to read papers, especially when it comes to like methodology, not really analysis part, because we do experiments. So I need to understand people's methodology and their thinking process. So
methodology is almost always the same.
Yeah, so usually for like whatever paper, it depends on what I'm looking for anyway. I'll just go straight to methodology. I'm not really interested in introduction or abstract. So once I know that, okay, this topic aligns with what I'm looking for, I'll go to your methods and then maybe go to your results to see what you got. So because my work is more experimental, I actually prefer in most cases to read papers, like just reading it through than using AI tools to like scan for information. But if I'm looking for something specific, and then it's like, instead of maybe I'm trying to do a literature review, instead of reading 10, 20 papers that you're not really sure you're going to get, I'll just use ChatGPT. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. Just give me papers that will corroborate my statement. And yeah. Okay, so we are hitting the home run on this. So what would I say is your final take when it comes to AI and intelligence, like changing the definition? Sorry, wait, I'm going to, before we get there, I'm going to say something, because I know we're running out of time. So one thing that they actually said, like at the conference, is the fact that even though yes, AI changes scope of work and everything, also because it frees up your time, the amount of work you do increases. Because the truth is that we say, oh, we're trying to free up time, try to kill time, but still you still find out that the whole day you're busy. So like how has it helped and how has it not helped?
Yeah, you just nailed it for me, because recently, this is just me, I think I've been having personal burnout, because I know I have I have a lot of things to do in that sense, but just as I posted on my status, because I now have a lot of information about many things, I know that I have a capacity of what I could do. But because of my humanity, the shortage of time, I now see that, I'm not being able to do everything together. So as you said, I think that's very true. It has opened up for me an infinite source of knowledge where, probably now, just before now, I don't think about good audio, but now I really things about mixing. I even know things about maybe recording a song. Recently, I just even got to how to mix songs and all of those things. So, and now I have the knowledge. It's not like a burden on me because you now know how things can get better, even though because of your constraints, having to do many things, you can't do it. So I think that's one of the disadvantages. Also, sometimes when you know the result you should achieve and it's not achieving it, you can spend more time prompting than actually just doing the task. So you understand, because if you build a skill, let's say you build a skill on how to code and you know how to code so well, you can be prompting AI for 30, 45 minutes. Even the thread is done. You have to open a new thread, start again. Meanwhile, maybe what you'll have changed in the code will have taken you 10 minutes. So that might be another, disadvantage for using AI, even with design and all these things. So it just shows that it's not an all-in-one tool. And that's why you cannot you should not go against it. It will never get to that place where it will give you what you want. The same way you will not get a car that will give you all you want at once. Fine, to meet your basic needs. I mean, many cars will do that today, but there's still the fact that I wish I could speed at 150 miles per hour and not have an accident, and then the car will stop. When you could imagine different things a car could do that the car cannot do yet, because they can't just do it. So that's the same thing with AI. But can it do the basic things that will move you from point A to point B? Absolutely. Is it better than Google that we had before, where you have to exactly, it's you go to page 1, page 2, page 3, get to page 7. So it's just like that. So I still feel that there are a lot of, and I think they are throttling it down a bit, because the way it was going about 2 years ago, I think it's getting to some sort of a plateau, like low key, because I mean, the way it was going then, you would think at this time, maybe all of the cars will run you on AI, but I think they are trying to throttle it down to match humanity. And I think there are still some AI platforms that might not be open to the common man, that very exclusive for maybe Pentagon, all of those very high intelligence secure agencies. So the possibilities are endless, but you still have some of these disadvantages that you still need to have that human factor where an expert will come into play to solve the problem. So, but again, don't go against it. That's the whole, for me, my last words. Try to find a way to integrate it into your work. Yeah.
So I think I would say same. That instead of trying to fight against something like AI, just find a way to how it will work in your personal life, and also how you can improve what you are doing already with this tool. Because just like you said, like sometimes because you know that, oh, I have access to this resource, like before, maybe you want to learn how to bake, for example, you have to maybe enroll in a baking school or a catering school, and then you learn from scratch. But now you can just go to ChatGPT maybe, or go to YouTube and learn something, and it's like, oh, it now, and then it has opened your world of of expertise that, oh yeah, so it's a problem. Well, I think for me, I think because of the constraints I have when it comes to maybe in human years, and also other responsibilities I have, I know I can't do it all. So I would just focus on, like, for example, for sewing now, I really want to be able to get back to sewing, and I know that there are tools that will help me to get better with it, instead of just sitting down and trying to learn from scratch. But I'm still a human, and I still have that conscience.
I know they do. I use that to cut clothes, look at the side.
Yeah, so I'm just like, there are some things I will just be like, for now, no. Let me just dial it down. Let me focus on what matters. I was telling you one time that I've closed shop. I'm no longer doing cake I'm no longer baking any, maybe aside from crackers. I'm no longer baking cakes again until a certain time. So it's just knowing how to apportion your time. That, okay, I can't do everything now, and AI will help me, yes, but I will need it to help me when I need it, when I need that skill or that knowledge. But if I don't need it, I will not actively pursue that knowledge. So for now, I'll just be, I use it when I need it to. So So those are my last words. So yeah, AI can be good, AI can be bad, depending on how you have decided to use it. So it's not something we should fight against. Rather, it's a conversation we should have. That okay, how will it help us, and what are the pitfalls? Because just like you mentioned, just like a car, just like machines, even your laptop self, you can have bugs, you can have issues with it. So it's not a all-in-one solution. Same thing AI is not.
Even like let me, for the creatives that might see this, even how to light up this podcast, it will give you like just everything. I mean, you can even get an audio sample, feed it to AI to tell you the best settings to put on your mixer. I'm just looking at all the creative ways I've used it, the right mics to use. Oh, you have this particular mic, you've gotten it already. How can you make it work? You have this tool on your gimbal, just different things, and that's why I use it a lot. Oh, like before, the whole set here, I didn't know that the lights were too much behind us. So then you see purple, it just had a lot of colors. And I was like, nah, bro, you can't keep doing this. So, that's how we could come to this very, in a way, polished look. And so it's just like that, types of batteries to buy, just solution solving. AI would do it for you, especially as a creative. AI will really be of good help. Correct?
Like even one time, like I was working with one of the machines in my lab, and then I was like, yeah, that's true, ChatGPT can help me. So and then I was just like asking, like troubleshooting essentially with ChatGPT, like, okay, this is the problem I'm facing, like what could be the possible issues and how can I solve it? And then it gave me a list of things to check and try, and then eventually it worked. Yeah. And then just like for troubleshooting, so because you can spend like a whole week just giving me, you don't be frustrated with that. This machine is not working. You read all the manuals. You do.
Can't even read the manual because from first page, before you get to the last page, you forgot what you read. Even with like there's this stuff online, and I'm going to do a video about it today. There's the audio interface I have on this camera. There's a sound it makes, and almost all of the videos I've seen about that sound, they said it's not possible to fix it. And so I just asked on the air that what could be this sound, because I did a troubleshoot, I removed many things, and eventually I found the solution to it. So I would not have done that. I would have just felt, oh, it's fine, so it will really work for you if you want it to. But just know that you have those shortcomings at some point, and it will get better. Yeah. So some questions you asked maybe 2 years ago, ask again today, you'll see it will get better. Yeah.
And also the learning curve, like that's even just prompting. Like you're trying to learn something, like learn a new skill or learn something like that, and usually learning curve maybe will take you. You have to enroll under someone for the person to train you and everything. So that's just exactly, they'll be sending you to maybe it's Nigeria.
This is in Nigeria. That's a topic we can discuss.
We should discuss it because I just saw a story today that
don't worry, the story, we'll talk about it maybe next week.
So yeah, so I would say stay tuned. I don't know which channel this one is going to, but it's go somewhere. But let's stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Good one. Yeah.